What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we can talk about AMC GME as well as the overall broader market. After that, we're going to check the options flow for all three of them. So today, AMC was up for 7.09% for the day. It had a high of $17.73. The average volume on AMC is around 42.02 million, but today's volume was around 47.50 million, which is slight bit lower than the volume that we had yesterday. Volume is keeping well pretty good around 50 million, and that's what we needed to push the stock upwards. Now the kind of momentum that we are seeing in AMC right now is just because of the overall broader market. Even the GameStop is having a pretty good sentiment towards it. Now let's come over to the GameStop. Now GameStop was up for 4.65% for the day. It had a high of $161.63. The average volume on GameStop is around 3.47 million, but today's volume was around 2.84 million. So you can see there is a slight bit lower volume that is coming than the average volume. You can imagine if there is a huge amount of volume that comes in GameStop, now this could be a pretty big trouble for the market maker from here onwards. It's only a matter of time, and this time is ticking right now. Now let's come over to the SPY. Now SPY was up 4.64% for the day. It had a high of $396.26. Now the SPY is continuously trying its level best to touch the 400 marks, which is the big gap that we have in the SPY right now. Seeing a pretty good sentiment coming towards it. Now the SPY didn't had a pretty super green day because yesterday's Netflix earnings was pretty mixed. There is nothing that is coming out except the bad news. One of the biggest major companies in the stock market. Now let's come over to the options flow for the AMC. Now we increase the premium to max and see what exactly the whales are doing. Now these whales are buying call options straight up, and they are buying a little bit out of the money call options, and they're betting a huge amount of money, and they are expecting the AMC to keep going up this slow and steadily towards the upside. Now let's bring on the premium and see what exactly the mini whales and the retail are doing. Again, majority of them are onto the upside, and they are all buying these call options, and they are betting that the AMC is going to keep going up from here onwards. Now when we have a look at the put to call ratio, 84% is the call side, the put side is 16%. The volume is pretty heavy onto the call side, and the premiums are pretty juicy on the call side as well. The rest, there was nothing majorly suspicious coming out of the options flow for the AMC. Now let's come over to the options flow for the GameStop. Now we increase the premium to max and see what exactly the whales are doing. Now majority of the whales are onto the downside, and they're buying put options on GameStop, and they're betting that the GameStop is going to go down from here onwards. But there are still quite a bit of people, those who are still buying call options on GameStop, and they are betting that the GameStop is going to go up from here onwards. There were a lot of call buying that was happening from the flow side, and they are all betting towards the upside, and they are buying way too much deep in the money call options, and they are betting that the GameStop is going to go up from here onwards. Now when I bring down the premium a little bit and see what exactly the mini whales are doing, now majority of them are on to the upside. Now let's have a look at the put to call ratio for the mini whale section. We can see 70% is the call side. Volume is pretty heavy onto the call side. The premiums are pretty juicy onto the call side. A lot of individuals are basically buying way too much deep in the money call options, and they are betting that the GME is going to keep pushing up from here onwards. There were a little bit of put buying that was happening, which I personally think is pretty risky right now. It's just a matter of time. If a huge amount of volume that kicks into the GameStop, we can go to easily over $300 in GameStop from here onwards. The rest, there was nothing majorly suspicious coming out of the option flow for the GameStop. Now let's come over to the option flow for the SPY. Now increase the premium to max and see what exactly the whales are doing. Now this one whale is buying a $400 call option, and he's buying 4,500 contracts, and he's paying $16.3 million for it. Now this trade that was cancelled this morning, it was a $520 put option that was supposed to expire in 148 days, and this individual was buying 850 contracts, and he's paying $10.9 million, was cancelled just because there might be some sort of a fear towards the further upside from here onwards in the SPY. Now I personally believe there is nothing good out there to be celebrating, but the market maker can push the market a little bit more higher. We need to cover the gaps before we go towards the significant downtrend into the overall model market. So we just have to wait and see how this is going to play out. Now when I bring down the premium a little bit and see what exactly the mini whales are doing, now majority of them are again onto the downside. Now when I bring down the premium a little bit more further, these $376 put option that came at the market close, this is going to expire in 29 days, and most likely it came when the Tesla's earnings was announced. It was a beat, but they have sold out their Bitcoin positions out of their balance sheet, which was in a loss, which can create some sort of a downtrend into the Tesla stock, and Tesla is one of the biggest company in this pie as well, so which is going to drag down along with it. Though the Tesla hasn't gone down significantly in the aftermarket, so we might have a steady day, but we just have to wait and see how this is going to play out. The rest, there was nothing majorly suspicious coming out of the options flow for the SPY. Now let's have a look at the chart of the SPY. Now I have been mentioning this thing that we need to fill this gap, and it's not necessary that the gap will be filled over here before we see any kind of a downtrend. The way the SPY is trying to reach to this 400 mark, it seems to be like we might be able to touch it, and once we touch this mark or we go slightly above this mark, then the kind of downtrend we're going to experience from here onwards is something inevitable. It is going to happen. We just have to wait and see what is going to be that catalyst. But I personally believe the 28th of July, the second GDP that's going to be coming, is going to be that big catalyst, and the market maker will try their level best to breach out this zone that they are supposed to breach in order to cover this gap. Now let's come over to the VIX. Now VIX is definitely is having some sort of a downtrend in it. Now it has gone down below the previous bottom that it had, and it's still going down. Now if the VIX break down this level, then I personally believe we're gonna go down a little bit more further into it. But VIX is definitely coiling up for a big move, and we just don't know when it's gonna happen. But I personally believe the kind of slow and steady downtrend that we are experiencing in it, the VIX is definitely coiling up for a big bounce towards the upside. Rest, we just have to wait and see how this is gonna play out. Hope so you like my video. Please like and subscribe my channel, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers.